Setting and maintaining appropriate item costs is important for efficient purchasing and reporting on inventory valuation. Item costs can be entered when editing a record and from the Item tab. There are 4 different cost values that you can enter: most recent cost, standard cost, and 2 optional user-specified cost fields that can be used for specific purposes, with labels that are set up in the company profile. The most recent cost sometimes includes not only the unit purchase price, but also applicable taxes and other prorated costs, such as for shipping charges. The standard cost is often used as the basis for calculating customer pricing, when the desire is to mark up as a percentage over cost, which is a setting on the Pricing tab of items. Leaving the standard cost at 0 will perform this calculation on the most recent cost instead. Standard costs could also be used as targets for item costs to track how close purchase targets are met. User-specified costs are commonly used for storing the net unit value of purchasing goods, exclusive of taxes and additional charges, or surcharges such as environmental fees. These cost values are entered for a selected costing unit of measure, which can be the same as the stocking unit, but it may also be one of the alternate units of measure defined on the Units tab. If a different unit is chosen, cost values are multiplied by the unit conversion factor. If you need to update these costs for a larger group of items, you can use the Import Items procedure to take a file that contains the items to update and the associated new costs to change. These values are matched to the selected field list in the import template, which could include the costing unit of measure if required. Ledger activity of transactions is determined from the selected control account set. Most importantly, the inventory control and the payables clearing accounts. Also, control accounts have the associated costing method used for accumulating purchase transaction costs and determining the cost of sales. There are 5 costing methods you can choose from. Moving averaged is the simplest, where all purchases and sales accumulate in a single total cost amount for the item, and cost of sales are based on the average unit cost. User specified is similar, but you can edit unit costs on customer sale transactions, and also define items with this method as non-stock items. Standard costing also keeps a single accumulated cost for transactions, but customer sale transactions account for an extended standard cost, as well as the cost of sale, and the cost variance difference. The last 2 methods are related and store each receipt of goods in a separate costing pool instead of one overall total cost. The FIFO method, or first in, first out, determines the cost of sale from the oldest costing pool. The LIFO method, or last in, first out, determines the cost of sale from the newest costing pool. If you enter receipts in Adagio inventory, the default unit cost is either the most recent cost or one of the 2 user-defined costs, as set up in the company profile. Costs can be edited on receipt details. Items may have taxes applied, and receipts can have overall discounts or additional costs. When a receipt is posted, if the tax table is set up to include taxes in the item cost, the after-tax unit cost, including the prorated portion of discounts or additional costs, will be written to the item most recent cost. Otherwise, the most recent cost will be exclusive of taxes. If the cost value changes on the item, the previous cost and the date of the change is stored on the item for reference. Adagio Purchase Orders has even more specific control over default costs on purchases and updating costs on receipts. In the company profile, the default unit cost on purchase orders or cook receipts can be any of 4 cost values stored on the item, or also 0, and the number of decimal places can be set to something other than 2. When receipts or invoice adjustments are posted, updating the most recent cost can be configured to include or exclude either taxes or prorated portions of miscellaneous charges, or set to not be updated at all. You may optionally choose to update a second cost field on the item, and select whether taxes or miscellaneous charges are included. A typical setup would have the most recent cost include all additional amounts, and one user-defined cost set to keep the net item cost without extra charges, which would be defined as the default unit cost. Manage item costs on vendor purchases and receipt of goods to facilitate proper entry and accounting. Find out more about Adagio from the product page on our website. Watch another training video on this Adagio program from the playlist, or subscribe to the Adagio YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.